Welcome back to A Moment in History. I'm Seth Udinsky. Well, in the annals of history, there are several places, people, and events that have reached legendary status. We've talked about many of them on this show, even as many people question the legitimacy of their existence in the first place. One of these stories places an alleged ancient island paradise somewhere in the great ocean and possibly once existed as a hotbed of precious metals, with many stories alleging the island was teeming with gold. That is, until its faithful and mysterious disappearance sometime in the ancient world. This island, whether mere legend or a true historical paradise, has captured the fancy of historians for thousands of years. That would be the mythical island of Atlantis. Now, Atlantis' first big appearance on the pages of history was in the writings of the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, who described it as a mighty ancient island kingdom teeming with natural resources near the Strait of Gibraltar in the Atlantic Ocean, right where the Atlantic Ocean meets the Mediterranean. Now, according to Plato's writings, and this was somewhere in the 3rd or 4th century BC, the island kingdom existed some 900 years before him, pegging its existence around the year 9300 BC. The island was prosperous, teeming with gold, but according to Plato, the kingdom sank into the ocean and disappeared when its inhabitants, powerful ancient aristocrats, became exceedingly wicked. Now, since Plato's day, the island became a legend of epic proportions, especially in Europe. When in the later Middle Ages, Europeans discovered the works of Plato, or rather rediscovered them, and believed to be able to find this island. Now, this is in part the foundation for the intense seeking of gold in the New World that many Europeans exhibited in the 16th century during the Age of Exploration, with many of them searching for an Atlantis-like paradise in the New World, or even the lost island of Atlantis itself. Now, this begs the question, did Atlantis really exist? Well, my opinion might surprise you. I believe there's a good chance that it did. Now, we have to make some clarifiers, of course. I believe the Earth is only several thousand years younger than what Plato put forth, meaning he was off by a few millennia in his research. Nevertheless, I want you to notice the legend that Plato describes is an island full of wicked, powerful people who, in their wickedness, were sucked into the heart of the sea and lost forever. Does that sound familiar to you? It should. The legend of Atlantis can absolutely be justified to line up with the biblical account of the Noahic flood, where, because of the thoughts and inclinations of mankind being only evil all the time, God sent a worldwide flood to destroy them. In the Platonic legend, Atlantis sinks into the ocean. Did it really sink into the ocean, or did it, by the sovereign hand of Almighty God, get obliterated by an oceanic flood? In Noah's day, there were many ancient kingdoms who were powerful and wicked, and all of them were swallowed up by the sea of God's wrath. Who's to say that the ancient Atlantis was not one of these? Thanks so much for joining me once again for A Moment in History.